Thank you for watching the April's edition of the Pottstown Borough Buzz. I'm your host, Cheryl Miller, and I'm out here today with Phillies Fire Company Assistant Chief Bob Orr. Bob Orr is going to take us through a series of 4 training sessions that are going to give us some hands-on experience of how to be a firefighter. Bob, tell us a little bit about what we're doing with this program.
What we're doing with this program is we're trying to recruit members from the community to help volunteer at their local fire company. In the past couple years, volunteers have been dwindling, and it's kind of a dying breed. And that's just national. That's just not Pennsylvania. So what we're doing is kind of a recruitment drive to try to get some people out, see what it's like to be a firefighter. So back here behind us, we have a car fire evolution that we're doing, and what we do is we have the people, we have them on the line, and they're going to proceed forward, and they're going to put the fire out. Advancing forward the fog pattern, coming at a 45-degree angle to the car, they're going to put the fire out. Notice they're all wearing SCBA's, self-contained breathing apparatus, so that the respiratory system is protected. Good job, guys.
So, Bob, this is a very important, responsible job to be a firefighter, but there's also a lot of excitement. There's a lot of brotherhood. There's a lot of teamwork involved. So what is your recommendation to the young people for getting involved in the fire company? What would you say to the young people that you want to come join the fire department?
A lot of wisdom that I try to give to the younger fellows is that this is the start of your career. People see that you run with the fire company, it's a sign of responsibility. It's a sign that you have good work ethic, and you're all around good person. You're serving your community. So a lot of times when young people, and when they're getting interviewed and they see that they run with the fire company, a lot of employers see that as a plus, because they see that it's a big sign of responsibility and matureness.
Thank you, Bob, and I appreciate all the firefighters do for our community.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Pottstown Borough Buzz. We're out here with the Phillies Fire Company with the Citizens Fire Academy class, and President Charlie Pierce and Brian Kisch, who's our first trainer for today, is going to give us a little taste in what it's like to be a firefighter. So this is a pilot program, your very first one.
Right.
And this is our one of 4 classes that we're starting today.
Correct.
So Charlie, tell us a little bit about how you came up with this idea.
Well, I think that the citizens in town and all over the country need to know that when the fire truck pulls up to their house, it's not all paid firefighters. Most of them, actually about 83% of the firefighters in Pennsylvania are volunteers. And volunteers, they go to school for 188 hours just to become a basic firefighter. And then they come to the firehouse and spend a lot of other time training and stuff like that. They're very important. That save millions of dollars to each and every community that they represent. Last year alone in the United States, the volunteer firefighters saved the country $139 billion.
Brian, our first training session is going to be hydrant engine operations, and you are our very first trainer. So how did you get picked for this first class?
We just put our names in a hat and then picked out, and I won. And it's a very easy but very important part of fighting a fire. If you don't have water, you don't put the fire out. So it's very taxing, it's physical, and going to have some fun.
Wonderful. So come on along, and we're going to learn what it's like to be a firefighter.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Phillies Fire Company. This is the first class for Citizens Fire Academy we're providing to inform residents what it is and what it takes to be a firefighter. We want everybody to know that firefighters across, not just Pottstown, across this country, the majority of them are volunteer firefighters that go to school for long and hard hours of training. Today you'll get an opportunity to see just one phase of what they have to go through to be a volunteer firefighter. Again, I always claim to say that they save lots of money for the taxpayers. They're always there when somebody else is in need. Everybody runs out of a building, the firefighters run in. It takes a lot for a person to be a firefighter, and today you'll get a chance to do some of the drills. At this time, Joe Groff will come up and explain about firefighting.
Good afternoon, all. My name is Joe Groff. I'm the chief here at the Phillies Fire Company. Been chief a little over 25 years. My operations are to conduct operations daily. I have an assistant and a deputy. In my absence, they take over. Assistant Orr also participates in training. He's also on the training committee for the Pottstown Borough. We have a staff of 3 drivers, 24/7. We're always here. So, any questions? No? Okay, Bob. Just say a few words for the training.
Okay. This is definitely a great opportunity to show the public what it takes to be a firefighter in Pottstown. Pottstown's a little bit different because we're a little bit more urban than the surrounding companies, so we have a little bit different aspects to how we fight fires. All right.
Okay, guys, I'm going to be the trainer today, and what we're going to do is we're going to hit hydrants. Like Bob said, the different rural areas have tankers. They bring their water with them. We have a plug on every corner, so we just hit it, get the water into the fire truck. It's a lot quicker. It's because of the population that we have in the borough. So what we're going to do is we're going to take you out, and senior firefighters, big crew here, they're going to do the evolution, and they're going to walk through it and show you how we want it done for a safety aspect. And then it's all you. You guys are going to wear the helmets, the gears. You're going to hit the hydrants. You're going to charge a hydrant, and we're going to flow some water. We're going to try to get everybody here on the fire truck so everybody can participate. Mom, you can even do it. You're here. You might as well enjoy yourself. And then when we come back here, if you have any questions, we can answer them. Or as you're waiting for your evolution to come up, you can pick the brains of any of these firefighters. And then we'll get it there. And we'll try to keep the kiddies safe, and they can watch mom and dad play firefighter. All right? Everybody good? All right. We're going to get you some gear, and we're going to rock and roll. We're going to try to get it all done so we can get back here and get some pizza from Mike's Brick House Pizza.
I do have a kitty size.
Caught at any time. If it comes caught, The gentleman walking down there, he had one go through his shin. It's wrapped in
Okay, we're out here this very windy afternoon for our second class of the Citizens Fire Academy. And this afternoon we're covering ladder operations. We're out here with Assistant Fire Chief Bob Orr, and he's going to tell us a little bit about what we're going to do today.
Thank you, Cheryl. Today we're going to be going over some ground ladder evolutions. Also, we're going to be climbing the aerial ladder on this ladder truck that the Borough just recently purchased and put into service at the Phillies Fire Company. And today we were joined by the 3 council members of the Pottstown Borough Council. We have Rita Paez here on my left, Cheryl Miller, and Dan Wien. So this first evolution, we're going to be climbing the aerial ladder on the top of this ladder truck here. The ladder extends to 79 feet at maximum length, and we're going to give everybody a chance to climb it up and experience what it's like to be up at the tip of the ladder. We'll even give you a good spin around. But I'll explain to you how we're going to climb the ladder just so it's safe as possible. Can you hold this? So when we climb the ladder, we're going to maintain 3 points of contact, meaning at all times we have at least 2 feet or 1 hand, or 2 hands or 1 feet, vice versa, as we're climbing the ladder. Alright, does everybody understand that? Just so you don't fall off, but we ain't gonna let you fall off. Alright. Who wants to be the first one?
I'll go first.
You go first? Okie dokie. Alright, we're gonna go up on this side of the ladder.
And President Dan Wien has braved himself to be the very first to climb to the top of the ladder.
So here we have the ladder coming out of its bed. You can see here the 4 outriggers of the truck is what actually keeps the ladder truck stable while they're putting up the ladder. All right, so they're at the top of the ladder now. What they're doing is they're folding down. There's 2 steps at the top of the ladder that allows you to stand up there. All right, Dan, that was your first time on the ladder truck. What did you think?
It was wonderful. Nice ride.
Yeah.
Yep. Beautiful view from the top. Okay. I'm glad we bought this.
All right, thanks,
I
Dan.
would hope we never need it, but
Yeah.
okay.
It's a good tool to have.
Yeah, I would encourage everybody to come out for the training.
Yeah. All right, so how was your experience on the ladder?
Great.
Great. What did
Different.
you think of it?
How people had to work with this and running to do this, and it's tough.
Yeah. It's a lot of work.
Yes, a lot of work.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming out.
They're doing pictures. All right.
Trying to say. Put me and Joe. Well, she knew what happened last time. She gave me your phone. I started taking selfies. All right, turn around and lay down. Is that Michael?
Turn around and lay down. Oh, yeah, you know.
Gus, can you hear?
You got the mic. Okay. I'm going to hand it back to you then. Gus, can you hear me? Oh, gotcha. Beautiful downtown Pottstown on the top of the Phillies Fire Company ladder truck. Brand new ladder truck just became into operations this summer. 79-foot ladder. Up here being supported by Brian Kisch. And they're going to take me in circles. Slowly in circles. Slowly. You know, Brian, I'm not sure that I'd be joking about that with me at the top. And now we're going to take a circle around the town. Oh, I should be up here with the camera. I can see the American flag flying proudly and high from this point. Got a little bit of a wind today, so we're rocking it out up here. It is beautiful. This is definitely the way to see downtown Pottstown. We got a little turbulence up here. I'd like to climb down. Can I climb down? Yeah. Brian, what would happen if we get a fire call while we're up here doing this training? Quint's covering. Okay, engine would go, and then you have obviously always in play mutual response. I can see the entire town from up here.
How was your first time on the ladder?
It was pretty exciting. It's a very windy day, so there's a lot of turbulence up there, but it's absolutely a beautiful view, and
it certainly gives me a greater respect for what you guys do as firefighters.
Yeah. It's a lot of work getting up there.
Well, I don't know that I'd want to be at the top and then fighting a fire at the same time and saving lives at the same time while protecting yourselves.
Wave to everybody. This is an Explorer. How old are you, Clean?
16 years old.
Oh, he's 16 years old. Okay. What school do you go to, Clean?
Pottstown High School.
All right, cool. So what we're going to do is, this is a common thing that goes on training night, is they race to put on their gear, because for a state requirement, I think it's 2 minutes they have to don everything on before they can pass a certification to be a firefighter, which is on the back of your pamphlets, by the way, all the requirements that needed. So, all right, Clean, you ready? And what we have is we're going to have one of the people that participated in the citizens thing. They're going to don gear without the air pack, so it's fair because he's so fast. It should work out real even. Are we ready? There's a lot of prepping, isn't there? Okay, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, go. Looks like he's done this before. Don't get nervous. You're good. Stop. 1:15. 1 minute and 15 seconds. All right, good job. So we'll get him all buttoned up, and we're going to reset the timer, and one of your family member can time. That way we're not cheating. You can spread that gear out any which way you want to make it easier for you.
I didn't have much instruction.
We just showed you. But it's real simple. It's just like getting dressed for work. Okay, it's just real. If you could get dressed like this, you'd be at work in no time. All right, 1, 2, 3, go. Uh-oh, Stretch, you're in trouble. Or I'm sorry, Clean. Clean's in trouble. Should have had to put the air pack on. She don't have a hood. She don't have a hood. Here, you gotta put your hood on. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Clean, you're going down, son. Your title's gone. Get the belt. Stop. 41 seconds. Bob, get her. Yep, sign her up. She's good.
What we want to do at this part is answer any questions that you have as far as firefighting, what do you have to do for firefighters. Before we do this is Ashley Reitenauer. She is in charge of female recruitment and also the secretary of the Phillies Fire Company. Bob Orr is in charge of training, and he's also one of the assistant chiefs. Joe Groff's the chief. Brian Kisch is, he trains, he used to be an assistant chief here, and he's in charge of the Explorer program, which the Explorer program is for the young kids to join here, and Brian's in charge of the training. So if there's any questions on anything, we can have the right person answer any of the questions that you have. Does anybody have any questions at this time?
You gotta take the mic over to him? Yep. Yeah, I'll take it. Yep.
I'm Bradley. What are the requirements to be one of you guys?
requirement to be an officer? The requirement for an officer is you really got to be able to multitask because you have to raise a family, you have to work a job, and then you got to have time for the firehouse, and that's what the Phillies preaches: your family, your job, then the firehouse. It's instilled in everyone that you see around this room. Some of us take time off to go home and deal with family issues, and then we always come back. We call it bleeding green. That's the colors of our fire trucks, and that's how we were born and raised. When I came in, Charlie, Joe, and all those guys kind of took us under the wing, showed us the right way of doing things, and just hard work and dedication. And you're how old? 11. And you want to be a firefighter, you got what it takes to be sitting at this front table. Honestly, it's just like us, we're excessive with the hours we put in. A lot of behind the scenes stuff going on. Every night's a meeting, every night's a phone call. But saying that, you don't have to be that dedicated. If you can come out and work one fire call, help us wrap one piece of hose, it's appreciated. So from zero to all your time. Anybody else?
So when you become a senior member at the age of 18, we'll send you to the Montgomery County Fire Academy, which is located in Conshohocken. And your basic level of instruction is called your Firefighter 1 class. That's your state and national entry-level firefighting class. That's what you need to be certified as a firefighter. So that's 186 hours. So it's pretty extensive. It usually takes about 1 year, and there's 4 parts of it. They'll teach you. You'll come in. They'll teach you the history of the fire service, how it started. I don't know if you guys know it, the first fire company was in Philadelphia, started by Benjamin Franklin. So that's a cool fact. And then they'll teach you about fire grounds. So you'll just be fire ground support, what the chief needs, what the firefighters need. And then they'll go into more extensive firefighting in exterior, putting ladders up, ropes and knots, like Boy Scout type things. And then you'll go for your interior. They'll teach you how to search and rescue inside burning buildings. And then at the end of the class, they actually have a residential and commercial building that's all made out of concrete. And they'll actually set fires in the house intentionally, and that's how you get certified. You'll do a certified burn at the end. And after the class, they'll have your graduation. You pass all your exams, and you're off to the races for more classes.
Just a little history for you. For the Phillies Fire Company, the first fire company in the borough of Pottstown, started in 1871. In 1871, the Philadelphia Fire Department went from a volunteer fire company to a paid fire company. They had a few extra pieces of apparatus, which was horse-driven apparatus at the time, a pumper with horses. The Borough fathers of Pottstown went down and bought a truck. They brought it back to Pottstown, and they had a meeting of which way they wanted to call, what they wanted to call the name of the fire company. Half the people wanted Goodwill, half the people wanted the Phillies Fire Company, Philadelphia Steam Fire Engine Company #1 of Pottstown, because they didn't have enough paint. That's why the story is that they picked the Phillies Fire Company. So we started in the same location, 1871. Throughout the years, a lot of things have changed. We got into the motorized vehicles, and now the major pumps and the aerials and stuff that we deal with. As the guys talked to you and showed you a little bit about fire company. Our fire company is also involved heavily in the community with fundraisers to help buy equipment here. Plus, also we do a golf tournament for the senior center, a miniature golf tournament for the senior center. We go to the schools. We do a lot of fire prevention. We go to all the schools. We have our own mascot, Fireplug. I'm sure all the kids know Fireplug. He goes to a lot of the events in the area. And what we try to do is that when we have an Explorer program. And Brian was an Explorer, and Chad, who is now a paid driver and an assistant chief here. And they started when they were young, and they came in here. And when you come to the Phillies, we always say you're family. But when you're family, it's like nobody pulls any punches or tells any lies. You're told what to do and how to do it. And you're told how to do it for a reason. Because if you do it the right way, you can move on. If you do it the wrong way, you're not going to last. Just everything in life. If you go to school and you work hard in school, you will succeed. When you're on a fire scene, you got to work hard, and there's no quit. You quit, then there's other situations that you have to deal with. So if anybody has any other questions about as far as the other part of the firehouse besides firefighting.
I did good. Nobody has questions. Is that Charlie?
Yeah, we have a couple events coming up. We have, and there's not very many other fire companies that have this, but we have an incentive program, which we pay $1 for each of the calls that the firefighters get, and we have dinner and meals for their families after trainings and stuff like that. But we're having a beef and beer on the 11th of March over at Norco, and all the money goes right to the firefighters incentive program, and we also have a golf tournament which sponsors that. So if anybody's interested in any of that stuff, or now we rent out the hall, we rent out this area here for like kids' birthday parties or even other parties, like a little bachelor party or whatever they want, you know. Bob Orr, the assistant chief at the Phillies, is going to be the instructor today, and he's going to explain to you a little bit about what we're going to be doing, and then we're going to get you your gear. We're going to get your gear, and then we're going to go up and get on the truck and go out to the fire truck.
So today we're going to be doing some ground ladders, and also we'll be climbing the aerial ladder on the ladder truck. I'm sure everybody's excited about that. So before we go out, I'll just give you a quick rundown on what we use ground ladders for. So in a fire, if there's someone that is stuck on the second floor, we'll throw a ladder up to their window and we'll be able to get them out there. Also, ground ladders are important for firefighter safety as well, because if a firefighter gets lost or trapped and he can't find his way out, he can find the nearest window, and we'll put a ladder up to that window. Also, we'll use the aerial ladder. It has two functions. It's 79 feet tall. Also, we can use it as a water tower. So if there's a big enough fire that we can't fight it with the smaller hoses, we'll use it as a water tower and squirt water from above. So we'll get you guys geared up, and then we'll go outside and climb the ladder. Okay, now we have an assortment of ground ladders here. I'm going to teach you about, we have a extension ladder. This is an attic ladder, and I'll explain why in a second. And that's what we call a straight or a roof ladder. So we'll start over at the straight ladder here. And the reason why we call it a straight ladder is because it's just one piece, one straight ladder. All right, so at the bottom, we call this the butt or the heel of the ladder. Okay. The two sides, these are called the beams of the ladder, and in between are the rungs. Now at the top of this ladder, we have the tip. You can always tell the tip from the butt because the tip is always rounded. And at the top we have these hooks. Now that's why we call it a roof ladder, because when we go up to cut a hole in the top of the house for ventilation to get all the smoke out, we'll actually put these hooks out, and this will hook onto the top of the roof, the ridge of the house, and then we'll be able to climb it. And then we have this attic ladder here. And the reason why we call it an attic ladder is because these two ladders are way too big to get up inside the attics of some of these old homes in Pottstown. So we'll actually take this ladder here. It's actually a 12-foot ladder. And we'll take it up inside a house, and it actually folds open. So now we can crawl up into any crawl spaces. A lot of houses in Pottstown don't have attic steps. They just have a hole in the ceiling. So we got to use this a lot of the times. And here we have an extension ladder. So the reason why we call it an extension ladder is because it can extend out farther than it is when it's bedded. We can actually make this ladder longer than it is now. So same as the straight ladder, we have the beams, the rung of the ladder, the butt, and then these yellow hooks are what we call the dogs of the ladder. That when we extend the ladder, those hook onto the rungs and make sure that it can't retract. Okay? So before we start doing some evolutions, I'll tell you some tips about wires here. So every time you want to raise a ladder, you want to make sure you look above you, and you don't want to be any closer than 10 feet to any of these wires. All right, it's the very top ones, the ones you got to worry about. These black wires here, that's all telephone wires and cable wires and stuff. So that's another hazard that we have to look out for in Pottstown with all the telephone poles. Pull the bottom out. And what I'm going to look for next is it sturdy, give it a little wiggle, and I'm going to check the climbing angle. So the climbing angle, you don't want it to be straight up and down because it'll make it really hard, but you don't want it to be horizontal either because that'll make it just as hard. So how I check the climbing angles, I'm going to put both feet and both arms on the ladder, and I want my arms to be just slightly bent, but I want my body to be vertical with the ground. And that's about where you want it to be there. You want to take that 3 points of contact. Every time I'm taking a rung, I'm making sure I have at least 3 points of contact as I'm coming down.
All right, Bob, when do you know when it's right to cut a hole in the roof? Will it cause acceleration of the flame, smoke, fire?
So we won't cut a hole in the roof if it's just, a kitchen fire or something, but on the bigger fires, well, where it gets in the walls and stuff, we'll actually have to cut a hole in the roof because otherwise all those hot gases and all that smoke has nowhere to go. All right, so when the firefighters go in there, all that smoke, they can't see anything. And it gets really hot, so what we'll do is we'll cut a hole in the roof and we'll let all them hot gases and smoke vent out the top of the house so the firefighters can gain visibility and it's not so hot in there for them.
So the firefighter that's standing on top of the roof is his visibility is now gone while the firefighters have more clarity inside.
Correct. So he'll cut a hole in the roof and then he'll get off the roof.
So When we're up on the ladder, and this is very interesting because when it's a little bit of a windy day like it is today, it's very jarring when you're on the top and the ladder is shifting. How do you guys handle that on an incredibly windy day when you're actually fighting a fire, you have equipment, and you might even have to save a person at the same time?
Well, life safety is always going to come first for sure, but that's a decision that the fire chief is going to have to make on scene. If it's too windy and there's no life safety involved, then he's going to have to make that decision not to send anybody up there.
And how much weight can the ladder hold?
So this new ladder that we just got purchased by the Borough, it can hold 750 pounds at the tip at full extension and 500 pounds if we're flowing water out of the water gun.
And that's going to include that includes the weight of the firefighter on there, so that's going to reduce the amount of weight if you would happen to have to bring somebody else down.
Yep. So with this newer ladder, we really don't have to think about that anymore because two people, say those people are both 300 pounds, we still have 150 pounds of room to spare.
And at 79 feet in length for the ladder, what's the highest building that you can reach? So it's not just height, but it's actually reach across to get to something.
Yeah, so the ladder that we just got now, it's 79 feet, and how we get that measurement is when the ladder is straight up and down, and they measure from the ground to the top. So it's 79 feet straight up, and I think it's 75 horizontal, or 70, because they're adding the height of the truck.
And what story can you reach in a building?
Probably about 7 stories. Usually a story is 10 to 12 feet.
How far away do you have to park the truck in order to reach your maximum height of a building?
So if we got to go all the way up, the closer to the building as you can, because the farther away from the building you are, the more you're going to lose reach-wise. So say the King Street Commons, we wouldn't be able to reach the top. We'd be able to reach maybe like the 6th or 7th floor.
And a lot of the newer buildings now, they have fire towers that are constructed within the buildings?
Yes.
Is that that's a requirement for new building?
Yes. Yes, every high-rise has staircases in them for emergency evacuation.
Good afternoon. We're back out here at the Phillies Fire Company for their 3rd session of their Citizens Fire Academy training. And we're speaking this afternoon with Ashley Reitnauer. Ashley is the youngest and the first female certified firefighter with the Phillies Fire Company. Ashley, can you tell us a little bit about what we're doing today?
Yep. Today we are doing search and rescue operations, which is going to include wearing an SCBA and breathing air, as well as going over what a primary and secondary search is and a left and right hand search. So we're going to be climbing under tables, through cones, in and out. We're also going to work on drags and rescues of victims.
And so Ashley, not only are you a trainer, so you will be demonstrating all these procedures and policies for us today.
Yes, correct.
So we're very excited, and let's get started.
Good afternoon, everybody. We're starting our 3rd phase of the Citizens Fire Academy at the Phillies. Today we're going to do search and rescue. Ashley Reitnauer will be the instructor today. She's going to let you know about the task at hand that we're going to be performing. After we get done, we come down for questions and answers, and also Mike's Brick Oven Pizza will be donating food to us to have, and that'll be a good part. Any questions that you need to know, if it has anything to do with search and rescue, anything about firefighting or anything else, we would be happy to answer for you. So at this time, Ashley will explain what's going to happen with our training today.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming. We're doing search and rescue today, so we have a couple different things going on. If you would like to try to breathe air on the SCBA, we're going to have a station for that. Brian will help you go on air and see what it's like to actually wear the air pack and try and breathe. We have an obstacle course set up where you're going to be going through kind of a maze, searching, left-hand, right-hand search, going through cones, under tables, things like that. You will be crawling around. Then we're also going to be doing drags and carries of victims. So some of our explorers volunteered to help with that, and then we have our rescue dummy. So it's going to be a fun day, and I'm looking forward to it. actually breathe air. You're going to go up into the front corner with Brian, and he's going to work on that. And you'll still get a chance to do all the other stuff, but that's where we'll have you start for the day. On this side of the engine, we have our rescue dummy and our lovely explorer who volunteered to be drug around. So you're able to try, you know, I mean, obviously he's a younger gentleman, so you can see if you can drag him and then a grown size adult. So that's just that there. And we have our maze over here where we're going to explain left-hand, right-hand search and how to maneuver through some obstacles. Okay? So who wanted to do the SCBA? So you guys can head up to the corner. Is that everyone, pretty much? And just keep in mind when you're inside the building, it's going to be, you always have your partner. You're never in there alone. So it's, you know, maybe I'm not able to lift him, but we could do that together. So it's, you're never alone doing it. And you can always radio for help if you need it. So just, Alex is going to take you through trying to move him, make sure our lovely explorer isn't. And then our rescue dummy for the adult is 180 pounds. So, and just, you know, be careful lifting, make sure you bend with your knees, don't be lifting with your back. That whole good safety spiel for you. Okay? Okay, so over here we have our obstacle course. I don't know what Courtney explained yet, but we have these masks that are blacked out. Because when you're in there, it might be too smoky or dark or anything that you're not going to be able to see what you're doing. So we have that to kind of simulate that. Our first part here, you're going to be using your senses to find something that's going to guide you through. So this rope can simulate the hose line that we have throughout the building that's going to lead you to where you need to be. So
Oh, that's why the helmets are good.
Yep, exactly. So you're going to be leading yourself throughout it. How we were talking about the left-hand, right-hand search. You always want to pick one hand that's at your structure, basically. So how she's using her left hand on the tables. So you're going to want to stick with your left hand the entire time. Because if you were to switch to your right hand to guide you, you might get disoriented and start going in a different direction. Tighten your straps. Is it over your chin?
Yeah.
Tighten that just a little. Okay. That way it helps your helmet not fall off too much. It's probably still going to move for you, but. How was it?
Where's your helmet at? Are you agreeing? That's cool. So now, what you did the search over there, now imagine you're going to search with this one, thrown under the tables.
Here Phillies Fire Company on our 4th and final Citizens Fire Academy training, and we're at a live burn session. And one of our wonderful trainers today is Brian Kisch. Brian, I want you to tell us a little bit about what we're doing here today, and then also I want to make introduction to our state representatives, Tim Hennessy and Tom Quigley.
Okay, I'm Brian. I'm a senior firefighter here, in charge of the Explorers as well. What we did today is we did a little live burn, educating on fire extinguisher awareness and how to put them out. And of course, you can see in the background, we set off a car. And along with senior firefighters, they learned how to advance a line and put the car fire out.
All right, we're out here at the live burn session with the Phillies Fire Company with state representatives Tim Hennessy and Tom Quigley, who both had the opportunity to take part in putting out some fires. So give me a little bit of thoughts of your experience today.
Well, it was sort of interesting to watch. First of all, I appreciated the training ahead of time, so we knew what we were doing. But trying to put out the diesel fuel fire by using a handheld extinguisher, aiming it at the base of the fire, to take away the oxygen first and then putting it onto the fire. It was an interesting step. I didn't understand that was the way it was supposed to be done, but I know a little bit more about putting out fires today as a result of this. Tommy?
Yeah, I mean, it's just an experience, as Representative Hennessy said, just to be here to see, get a brief, inkling or a glimpse of what our firefighters do. And I think, myself and Tim have always been strong supporters of our volunteer firefighters. And to come out here today to get a little bit of a hands-on demonstration of what they do, I think gives us a better understanding as we try to craft legislation to help and encourage our volunteer firefighters.
So fantastic. So you gentlemen, are you more experienced now if you come across a car fire on the expressway that you'll be able to jump out and assist?
Probably.
Well, we're certainly more experienced. We'll see whether or not, if we have the equipment, then I think then perhaps we can help put out that fire. But whatever, it was. It gives you an appreciation of what our firefighters face and the dangers they face when they go out to respond to a call, because they don't know what they're going to find when they get there.
It certainly does. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming out with us today.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Before you use them, before you go into service with a fire extinguisher, you tell somebody to call 911. This is just, the homeowner fire extinguishers are a lot smaller than the ones you guys use today. So you got a couple puffs to knock it down, but you want to make sure you called us. Because if you go in to put the fire out, if you go in to put the fire out, and you don't do it, and you become overcome with smoke, and you didn't call us. So, if you want to try to hit it. Go low, make a nice sweeping motion. If you see it getting too crazy, get out of there. Because we're going to be 2 minutes away. If you live in the Borough of Pottstown, 2 minutes, there'll be a fire truck and a fireman on your front door. So, this is just to give you some idea how to use it.